Have you ever noticed that the harder you chase something, the farther it seems to slip from your grasp? Success, happiness, love, they're all right in front of us, yet the more we obsess over achieving them, the more they seem to elude us. Why is it that the things we want the most often feel just out of reach? As the Zen teaching goes, when you stop caring, results come. It's a paradox, isn't it? We are taught to hustle harder, strive relentlessly, and never give up. But what if the real key to fulfillment isn't about holding on tighter, but about letting go? Think about it. Have you ever been so focused on controlling every outcome that it left you stressed, frustrated, or even worse, completely burnt out? What if all this clinging is actually the reason you feel stuck? Here's the truth most people miss. Attachment doesn't lead to freedom, it leads to suffering. But when you embrace non-attachment, you unlock a power far greater, inner peace, clarity, and ironically, the very results you were chasing begin to flow effortlessly into your life. In this video, we're diving into the life-changing wisdom of Zen and Buddhism. You'll discover how letting go of the need to control everything can lead to unimaginable freedom and joy. By the end, you'll see why surrender isn't about giving up. It's about gaining back your life. So if you've ever felt trapped by your own expectations, stick around. This might be the one insight that transforms everything. Let's begin. Focus on what you can control. There is an old story about a monk who spent years meditating by a peaceful river. One day, a traveler approached him, frustrated with the chaos of life. He complained about his relationships, work stress, and the constant struggle to control everything. The monk listened patiently, then pointed to the river and said, "Do you see how the river flows? It does not fight against the rocks in its path, it simply flows around them. You must be like the river. Focus on what you can control and let go of the rest." This simple wisdom holds one of life's greatest truths. Freedom begins when we stop holding on to things outside our control. In Buddhist philosophy, this principle is central. The Buddha taught that suffering often arises from clinging to outcomes, people, or situations we cannot change. Instead, he encouraged us to focus on our own actions, attitudes, and inner peace. A great philosopher captured this idea perfectly. The chief task in life is to distinguish between what is up to us and what is not. Now, imagine how much lighter life would feel if you embraced this wisdom fully. Think about the last time you were stressed. Perhaps a conflict at work where you felt unheard or unappreciated. How much energy did you waste trying to change someone else's behavior or control the outcome of a situation? Now ask yourself, what if, instead of focusing on things outside your control, you had focused on your professionalism, your composure, and your ability to respond with grace? The truth is, when you let go of what doesn't belong to you, you reclaim the power to shape your own destiny. This practice isn't about being indifferent. It's about clarity. It doesn't mean you stop caring altogether. It means you stop wasting energy on things that drain you unnecessarily. Instead, channel that energy into what you can influence. Your mindset, your habits, your responses. Just like the river that flows around obstacles, your energy becomes unstoppable when it's not wasted on resistance. Here's how to begin. 1. Identify your sphere of control. Reflect on what is truly within your power. Is it your effort, your attitude? Start there. 2. Release the rest. Acknowledge the things you can't change, other people's opinions, the past, or unpredictable events, and consciously let them go. 3. Redirect your energy. Focus on actions that align with your values and goals. Ask yourself today, what weight am I carrying that is not mine to hold? In letting go, you free yourself, and in that freedom, results flow naturally, just like a river finding its way to the ocean. Take one step today to let go of an attachment that is holding you back. Accept that life is imperfect. A man once visited a Zen master, frustrated with his failures. He sighed, "I try so hard to make everything perfect, but nothing ever goes as planned." The master smiled and handed him a cracked teacup. "Drink," he said. The man hesitated. "But it's imperfect," he replied. The master nodded. "And yet, it holds the tea." This simple exchange reveals a deep truth. Perfection is not the goal. Acceptance is. Buddhist philosophy teaches that much of our suffering comes from resisting reality. We set impossible standards for ourselves and others, believing that happiness comes only when everything is just right. But perfection is a mirage, always out of reach. Think about the last time something didn't go as planned. Maybe a project at work didn't turn out the way you hoped, or a relationship didn't meet your expectations. How much time did you spend dwelling on what should have been, rather than learning from what was? The truth is, when you let go of perfection, you make space for growth. Modern life teaches us to fear mistakes, to see flaws as failures. But Zen wisdom reminds us, the cracks are where the light enters. Consider an artist who embraces imperfections in their work, who finds beauty in a crooked line or a smudged stroke. Life is no different. The imperfect moments are what teach us resilience, creativity, and grace. How to embrace imperfection in your life? 1. Shift your perspective. When things don't go as planned, pause. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Mistakes are not barriers, they are stepping stones. 2. Practice self-compassion. Stop punishing yourself for your flaws. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend. Progress matters more than perfection. 3. Appreciate the flaws of life. Look for beauty in what's broken or unfinished. Whether it's a chipped cup, a missed opportunity, or an unexpected detour, let it remind you of life's unique charm. Ask yourself, what am I resisting because it's not perfect? When you stop caring about perfection, you unlock freedom. Suddenly, mistakes become opportunities, flaws become teachers, and life becomes richer. The cracked teacup still holds tea, and you, with all your imperfections, are still enough. Take one step today to embrace life as it is, not as you think it should be. Practice mindfulness. There is an old Zen story about a student who asked his master, "What is the secret to a peaceful life?" The master handed him a cup of tea and said, "Drink this." As the student drank, his mind wandered, thinking about his responsibilities, upcoming tasks, and the future. Seeing this, the master gently took the cup away and said, "When you drink tea, just drink tea." This simple moment carries profound wisdom. Peace is found in the present moment. Yet, how often do we truly live in the present? Our minds are constantly running, either worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. In doing so, we miss the only moment we actually have, right now. Buddhism teaches that attachment to the past creates regret, and fixation on the future creates anxiety. But the present moment, that's where your power lies. Think about a time when you were truly present, maybe watching a sunset, feeling the warmth of the sun and the cool breeze on your skin. In that moment, you weren't burdened by yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's worries. You were simply there. That is mindfulness. In today's fast-paced world, mindfulness can feel like a luxury, but in truth, it is a necessity. Our constant rush toward the future robs us of joy. But mindfulness doesn't require you to sit in meditation for hours. It begins in the smallest moments of awareness. How to practice mindfulness in daily life? 1. Start with your breath. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Feel the air enter your lungs and notice as it leaves your body. Even a single moment of focused breathing can anchor you in the present. 2. Engage your senses. Whether you're eating, walking, or listening to someone speak, focus on sensory details. Notice the taste, smell, or texture of what surrounds you. 3. Pause and notice. When your mind begins to spiral into worry or regret, gently bring it back. Ask yourself, what is happening right now? Mindfulness isn't about stopping your thoughts. It's about noticing them and choosing to return to the present. Ask yourself, what beauty am I missing because I'm not paying attention? When you practice mindfulness, you stop caring about distractions that pull you away from now. In return, you gain clarity, peace, and presence. Take one mindful breath today and let it remind you, this moment is enough. Perspective is everything. There is a Zen parable about a farmer whose horse ran away. His neighbors came running and exclaimed, "What terrible luck!" The farmer calmly replied, "Maybe." The next day the horse returned, bringing with it a wild stallion. The neighbors cheered, "What great fortune!" Again the farmer said, "Maybe." Later the farmer's son tried to tame the wild horse but fell and broke his leg. The neighbors lamented, "Such misfortune." Once again the farmer simply said, "Maybe." Days later, soldiers came to the village to recruit young men for war, but left the farmer's son behind because of his injury. The neighbors celebrated, "How lucky you are!" And the farmer, he still said, "Maybe." This story carries a powerful lesson. It is not events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments of them. Life is full of unexpected challenges. Relationships end, careers stumble, plans fall apart. When setbacks happen, our first instinct is to label them bad, unfair, unlucky. We spiral into frustration and self-pity. But what if, instead of resisting, we reframed these moments? What if every setback became an opportunity? A rejection might feel like failure, but it could be steering you towards something better. A lost job could be pushing you toward a more fulfilling path. A painful breakup could be clearing space for a healthier relationship. Reframing doesn't mean denying the pain. It means acknowledging it while opening the door to possibility. How to shift your perspective. 1. Pause and reflect. When something goes wrong, resist the urge to react immediately. Ask yourself, what might this situation be teaching me? 2. Find the opportunity. Look beyond the surface. What new possibilities or lessons can emerge from this experience? 3. Let go of labels. Stop categorizing events as good or bad. Trust that even in adversity, growth is happening. Buddhist wisdom teaches that suffering often comes from our own interpretations, not from reality itself. When we shift our perspective, we reclaim the power to shape our own reality. As the Dalai Lama once said, sometimes not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck. Ask yourself, what challenge in my life can I see differently? When you stop labeling every experience as a disaster, you create space for transformation. The world becomes less about what happens to you and more about how you choose to see it. Today, embrace a challenge as an opportunity and watch your life shift in ways you never imagined. Let go of entitlement. There's an old story about a wandering monk caught in a storm. Seeking shelter, he knocked on the door of a grand mansion. The owner turned him away, refusing to offer him refuge. Soaking wet, the monk walked further and found an old, broken-down shed. He rested there for the night, grateful for even the smallest protection from the storm. In the morning, as the first light of dawn shone through the cracks of the shed, the monk smiled and whispered to himself, "Even this humble shelter is more than I deserve." The trap of entitlement. This story carries a profound teaching. Life owes us nothing, yet it gives us everything. Buddhist philosophy teaches that attachment to entitlement is a source of suffering. When we believe we deserve success, love, or recognition, we set ourselves up for disappointment and resentment. Think about how often we fall into this trap. We feel we deserve a promotion, yet it goes to someone else. We expect perfect weather on vacation, but it rains. We believe love should be effortless, yet relationships take work. Each unmet expectation breeds frustration. But what if we let go of the belief that life should unfold according to our desires? What if, instead of focusing on what we lack, we cultivated gratitude for what is? Releasing entitlement in daily life. 1. Shift from expectation to gratitude. Instead of dwelling on what you lack, focus on what you already have. Gratitude transforms resentment into peace. 2. Replace "I deserve" with "How can I serve?" When we focus on giving instead of receiving, we open doors that entitlement keeps closed. 3. Adapt to outcomes. When life doesn't go your way, pause and adapt. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? Buddha's wisdom reminds us, you are not owed anything by life. All is a gift. When you stop clinging to the idea of what should be, you become open to the beauty of what is. Each sunrise, each moment of connection, each breath, these are treasures freely given. A small shift, a big difference. Ask yourself, what expectations are holding me back from appreciating the present? Today, release one expectation and embrace what life offers instead. You may find that what you already have is more than enough. Accept change. A wise monk once said, "A river never fights the current. It flows, adapting to every bend and obstacle because it understands this truth. Nothing stays the same." This is the essence of impermanence, a central teaching in Buddhist philosophy. Buddha taught that everything in life is temporary, our emotions, relationships, successes, and struggles. Yet despite knowing this, we often resist change, clinging to the past or fearing the future. Why we struggle with change? Think about the seasons. Summer fades into autumn. Autumn gives way to winter. Spring returns, bringing new life. We accept these changes without resistance because we understand they are part of the natural cycle of life. But when life brings its own seasons, the end of a relationship, the loss of a job, the passing of time, we resist. We hold on, wishing things could stay as they were. But here's the truth. Resisting change does not stop it. It only creates suffering. The gift of impermanence. Imagine someone whose career takes an unexpected turn. Perhaps their company closes, or they are passed over for a promotion. At first, they feel lost, even angry. But what if, instead of resisting, they leaned into the change? What if they saw this as an opportunity to explore a new path, one they might never have considered otherwise? Change, while uncomfortable, often brings growth and transformation. A failed relationship may hurt deeply, but it also clears space for someone more aligned with who you are becoming. A career setback may feel like failure, but it may be guiding you towards something greater. The more we resist the flow of life, the more we suffer. But when we accept impermanence, we begin to see the beauty in endings and the possibility in new beginnings. How to embrace change. 1. Acknowledge your resistance. When change happens, pause and notice your feelings. Ask yourself, what am I clinging to? Simply recognizing this is the first step. 2. Reframe endings as beginnings. Instead of focusing on what you've lost, ask, what new opportunities might this bring? 3. Stay present. Change feels overwhelming when we project too far into the future. Focus on the now and take one small step forward. Buddhist wisdom teaches, when you let go, you create space for what's next. Let go and trust the flow of life. Ask yourself, what change am I resisting that could lead to growth? When you stop clinging to the past or fearing the future, you free yourself to grow, evolve, and embrace the unknown. Today, take one step toward trusting the flow of life. Let go of what was. Welcome what's to come. Cultivate forgiveness. There's a story of two monks traveling together. As they walked, they reached a river where a woman stood, hesitant and afraid to cross. One monk offered to carry her across the river. Even though their vows forbade touching a woman, he lifted her and helped her safely reach the other side. Hours later, after they had continued on their journey, the second monk couldn't hold back his frustration. "How could you break your vows like that?" he asked. The first monk simply smiled and replied, "I set her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison. This story embodies a powerful truth. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. When someone wrongs us, it's easy to carry resentment, replaying the pain over and over in our minds. But what does this achieve? Does it punish the other person? Does it undo the harm that was done? Does it bring you peace? The weight of anger doesn't harm the one who wronged us. It only drags us down. Buddha taught, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. Forgiveness is for you, not for them. Think of a betrayal by someone you trusted, a friend who broke your confidence, a partner who wasn't faithful. The initial sting is sharp, but what happens when you keep holding on to that pain? It makes it harder to trust again. It makes it harder to love freely. It makes it harder to move forward. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing what happened. It doesn't mean letting the person back into your life. It doesn't mean pretending it never hurt. It means releasing your grip on the anger that's holding you hostage. Letting go of resentment creates space for healing, growth, and peace. A tree never blames the wind. Consider this. A tree battered by a storm doesn't blame the wind. It adapts, grows stronger roots, and extends its branches to the sky. Similarly, your pain can become a source of growth, if you let it. How to cultivate forgiveness? 1. Acknowledge the hurt. Don't suppress or deny your feelings. Name them, accept them. Second shift. Your focus. Instead of fixating on the wrongdoing, ask, what can this experience teach me about myself? 3. Use the pain for growth. Let your experience teach you boundaries, self-respect, and wisdom. 4. Release with compassion. Forgiveness does not mean reconciliation, it means letting go. Buddha said, hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule. This doesn't mean you have to love those who hurt you, but it means you release the poison of anger so love and peace can fill the void. What are you still carrying? Ask yourself, what grudge am I holding on to that is weighing me down? When you stop keeping score, when you stop seeking revenge, you step into freedom. Today, set down one burden of anger. Forgive, not for them, but for yourself. Peace is waiting on the other side. Silence is golden. There is a Zen proverb that says, "Speak only if it improves upon the silence." In its simplicity lies profound wisdom. The power of silence. Imagine a clear, still pond. When undisturbed, it reflects everything perfectly. The sky, the trees, and even the smallest details. But throw a stone into it, and ripples distort the image. Our words are like stones. When used carelessly, they disrupt harmony, creating more chaos than clarity. The cost of speaking without thought. Think about the last time you found yourself in a heated argument, perhaps with a loved one or a colleague. As emotions ran high, did you say things you later regretted? Did your words escalate the conflict instead of resolving it? Did speaking too quickly create more distance than understanding? In moments of tension, silence can be your greatest ally. Silence is not weakness, it is strength. It is a conscious choice to pause, reflect, and respond with wisdom rather than impulse. Right speech. The Buddha's teachings on words. Buddhism teaches the importance of right speech, one of the principles of the Noble Eightfold Path. Right speech means speaking, truthfully, avoiding lies or deception, kindly, avoiding words that cause harm, purposefully, speaking only when necessary. When we practice this, our words become tools for connection rather than weapons of division. Silence gives us the space to step back, observe our emotions, and decide, will my words bring healing or harm? The power of a pause. Imagine a parent frustrated by their child's mistakes. The impulse is to react, to scold. But what if instead they paused? In that moment of silence, they might recognize the child is not rebellious, but confused. The child does not need punishment, but guidance. A moment of understanding can replace anger. Similarly, in relationships, silence during conflicts creates a moment to truly listen. Not just hear words, but understand emotions. Respond with wisdom instead of reacting from frustration. How to practice mindful silence. 1. Pause before you speak. In moments of conflict, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, will my words help or hurt? If unsure, stay silent. 2. Listen more than you talk. Silence isn't just about not speaking, it's about creating space to truly hear others. 3. Use words as a last resort. Sometimes silence itself conveys understanding and compassion. 4. When you must speak, speak to heal. Choose words that heal wounds rather than deepen them. Bring clarity rather than confusion. Guide gently rather than attack. Buddha once said, words have the power to destroy and heal. When words are both true and kind, they can change the world. This doesn't mean avoiding difficult conversations. It means choosing your moments and words wisely so that your speech fosters growth, peace, and understanding rather than conflict. Ask yourself, what could silence teach me in moments of chaos? When you stop caring about the need to always react, you discover the power of presence. Today, embrace silence in one difficult moment. Let it guide your response and bring clarity where words cannot. In silence, wisdom is born. The beauty of letting go. In the stillness of the present moment lies a profound truth. What we cling to often becomes the source of our suffering, and what we let go of creates space for peace to blossom. The teachings of Zen and Buddhism remind us that freedom does not come from controlling life's outcomes, but from aligning with its natural flow. As the Zen saying goes, let go or be dragged. The key to true peace. When we loosen our grip on expectations, we awaken to the boundless possibilities that life offers. Like the river that does not fight the rocks but finds its way around them, we too can navigate life's challenges with grace. Like the cracked teacup, which still holds tea, we too must accept imperfection and find beauty in it. Like the Buddha's wisdom, which teaches that change is inevitable, we too must learn to embrace the flow of life rather than resist it. Strength in surrender. True strength does not come from force or control, but from harmony with life's rhythm. By focusing on what we can control, accepting imperfection, living in the present, shifting our perspective, letting go of entitlement, embracing change, practicing forgiveness, honoring silence, loving our fate, remembering life is fleeting, we cultivate a life of serenity, purpose, and wisdom. Trust in life's flow. The universe unfolds according to its wisdom. Instead of resisting it, trust in it. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely said, do not seek to have events happen as you wish, but wish for events to happen as they do, and your life will be serene. Final reflection. If this wisdom resonates with you, remember, let go of the need to control. Embrace the beauty of imperfection. Trust in the unfolding of your journey. Peace and freedom are already within you, patiently waiting to surface. If you found this script insightful, consider sharing it with others on a similar path. For more inspiring Buddhist wisdom and actionable insights for a peaceful, mindful life, subscribe to Deep Wisdom and continue walking the path of enlightenment. May you find enduring peace and profound wisdom on your journey.